What about Delaware? Delaware is a good state. Open your LLC. The reason why Delaware is a good state, yes, Delaware has privacy laws, but so does Wyoming. Like I said, Wyoming was the first LLC state, the most business friendly LLC state. If you hired an asset protection attorney, they would tell you to open your LLC in Wyoming, and then they would charge you $5,000 for that advice. Delaware, another LLC friendly state, the annual renewal fees might be $300 versus Wyoming's $60 a year. That adds up, especially if you have multiple LLCs. If you have 3 LLCs, that's $1,000 annual fees versus $180. So that matters. The reason people like Delaware is for Delaware's Court of Chancery. The Court of Chancery in Delaware is the most sophisticated business litigation and dispute court in the country. Why is that good? Because if I'm a mergers and acquisition attorney, I want to know what would happen in the event that we try to merge these companies and we get into the two CEOs get into a business dispute and they start suing the hell out of each other. How do we need to draft this merger agreement so that there could be proper separation, buyouts, and all these other things? And how would the court rule upon them? Because there's a law and there's how the judge rules. So we need proper case law available to us so that we can properly draft our mergers and acquisitions agreements for startups and people who like to raise money. And that's why they like starting their LLCs in Delaware, because the attorneys request it and require it in many instances. If you're going to raise money, then we have to do it through a SPE or a SPV that is set up in Delaware. That's going to be our court if we get into some bullshit. That's what's going on. So if you were starting a startup or some type of tech startup, open your thing in Delaware, because if your intent is to go raise funds, then you're going to need that in order to get angel investors to tap in. Their attorneys are going to request it. You might as well be there already. If you're doing real estate investing and you're a solopreneur and you're just going to get it in and you want the cheapest setup with the most asset protection, set it up in Wyoming, get the nominee, be completely distant from that LLC. There are ways to do it. And there are ways to, go set up the offshore trust or the offshore LLC, get the offshore bank account, and have that own the domestic entities. So there's lots to this game. That's what it is.